We're doing some man-on-the-street interviews. We're just walking around the house of worship tonight talking with some of the Baha'is. And could you tell us your name?
Kay Walker.
Kay Walker. How long have you been a Baha'i, Kay?
Since 52.
52. And what was it about the Baha'i faith that you liked?
The fact that there was no prejudice of any sort.
That was way back in 1952.
Social, economic, racial, or religious.
That's
what appealed to me at first.
They had a special award ceremony tonight, and they named an award after you. That's quite an honor. Thank you for talking with us. Who are you?
My name is Eric Bruns.
Rochelle Lemire.
And you're both Baha'is.
Yes.
How long have you been Baha'is?
I've been Baha'i for over 9 years now.
Uh-huh. What is it about the Baha'i faith that you liked? Why did you want to investigate it?
What's your answer?
I believe in the principles about world unity and about that there should be no racial disharmony. And I also believe that we're all one.
Very good. Thank you.
The reason why I investigated the faith was because I was searching for something I didn't realize I was searching for at the time. And I started casually looking at the faith through a friend of mine who was a Baha'i at the time, and she still is a Baha'i. And I got interested in it because I found out that there was this continuum between all the various religions of the world, and that really fascinated me. And the more and more I got into it, the more attracted to it I became. So finally I was compelled to become a Baha'i.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Carol. And Bernece, how long have you been a Baha'i?
14 years.
That's a long time. I know.
Yes.
We used to know each other in Chicago, and that was 14 years ago.
That's right. That was right at the beginning.
How is it that you became a Baha'i? What was it that appealed to you?
Well, I've been coming up to Wilmette with my father. I saw the house of worship being built over 30 years, but I didn't know at that time that it would mean so much to me.
Uh-huh. I know you said that you used to be Catholic.
Yes, I was.
And that you ended one religion on a good note by going to Mass, and you began the next religion on a good note when you signed your enrollment card.
That's right. It was all in the same week.
Well, thank you for talking with us.
My name is Hunter Thompson.
Where are you from?
I'm from Deerfield, Illinois.
And you're a Baha'i?
Oh, yeah, I'm a Baha'i.
Yeah, how long have you been?
I got a Reneau True Rose Award tonight.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
How long have you been a Baha'i?
All my life.
All your life?
Yeah, my parents became Baha'is about a year before I was born. And that would mean that if you mean declared Baha'i since 1973, 13 years.
What is it about the Baha'i faith that you liked?
Well, I like the closeness of everybody.
Use the dial.
Yeah. I just think that it's the religion for today, and there's no better reason than that. I mean, it's the truth as we know it, and what I like about it, it's sincere.
Very
we
good.
really practice what we preach.
Good. Thank you.
Don Delaney.
How long have you been a Baha'i?
6 years.
6 years. And what was it about the Baha'i faith that made you want to investigate it?
I liked the people in it, and I liked what I read about it in the historical context. Progressive revelation, I like that aspect of it.
What is progressive revelation?
Different manifestations or messengers or prophets or whatever they're called by their faith, their particular religion, come at different periods in world history, adding a few extra social laws to the eternal ethical type laws.
So there's been a succession of prophets throughout time.
That's right.
Yeah, very good.
That's it.
Okay. Thank you,
I'd like to
Emily.
interview you for the American Baha'i.
Okay, fine. I'd love to. Formerly from Carbondale. Your parents still live in Carbondale?
Yes, they do, until August.
And how long have you been a Baha'i?
All my life.
All your life. What is it about the Baha'i faith that you think is worthwhile?
There's nothing about it I don't think is worthwhile.
Well, name a few things. What, for instance?
Well, for instance, tonight, the camaraderie between the people here and the warm feelings you get by being here and seeing everybody, like people from Carbondale that you haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And it's my family, so what can you say?
Oh, very good. Thank you very much.
Janet Bucknell.
Hi.
Hi. What are we doing here?
This is for a cable TV show we have done in Carbondale.
Oh, hi, Carbondale.
Yeah. You're a Baha'i, right?
Yes.
Okay, how long have you been a Baha'i?
Almost 15 years.
15, my God. Why?
Why?
What is it about the Baha'i faith that you liked?
I liked what I heard then, and I like it more every year as I go on. My immediate reaction was, here's a group of people who have believed the way that I believed my whole life.
Uh-huh.
Of course, later on I found out that I believed the way that the Baha'i faith believes. I was not quite as egocentric as I used to be then.
What sort of things did you believe?
Oh, specifically the equality of men and women, the elimination of every kind of prejudice, not just racial, but economic and geographic. I've always been very disturbed that I am not allowed to go traveling anywhere I want to in the world, that we've got all these man-made boundaries between so-called nations, and I can't just go see what I want to see. You know,
Right.
I just can't go over to Russia if I want to. I just, until a few years ago, wouldn't have been able to get into China. I just can't see what I want to go see, and I hate these geographic, artificial boundaries that we have between one another.
So do you feel that there should be freer travel, communication between the countries?
Complete. I don't think that there should be barriers between people, whether they're the stone ones that we put up or the ones that we veil our minds with and put between ourselves. And that's what the faith is all about.
Well, how about governments? Should there be separate governments, do you think?
Well, of course, the Baha'i teachings are that we eventually will have a world government that would include everything from a judiciary to police if we need them, and an army if we need them, and all that. A lot of people think that the Baha'is are being very idealistic when we say that we have to live as one world. But we believe that it's really the only realistic thing to do. It's not idealistic at all. It is realism. We have to learn to live that way because we are, in truth, in fact, in every way, one world. In communications, in technology, in science, in economics, you know, all of our monetary systems are tied into one another. We are one world. We have to learn to live that way.
That's right.
So, yes, one government. You bet.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Come on, Carbondale.
Try to work on your shyness a little bit. Try to learn to express yourself.
Come up to the house of worship.
Talking with Chuck George. Chuck is a former resident of Carbondale.
How did you know that?
I knew that. Carbondale TV.
Well, do you know the reason why I went down there?
Why?
In February of 1963, I went down there to pioneer, and at the time I was the first Baha'i there.
Uh-huh. So you're the first Baha'i in Carbondale. Yeah.
And when I found out that they were electing their first assembly, I was on pilgrimage in December of 1970 when I found out they were electing their assembly the following Rizwan.
Uh-huh.
Florence Avis's daughter Randa was there.
Uh-huh.
And Florence was the one who told me. And I remember it very distinctly because I remember standing in the reception at the Universal House of Justice building crying when I heard that news.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
How long have you been a Baha'i?
25 and a half years.
25 years. What stands out in your mind about the Baha'i faith? What is the most important teaching?
The most important teaching?
Yeah.
I think going to Carbondale probably is one of the most important things and one of the things that stands out, and also my 2 years in North Carolina. Because, well, I was with the State Goals Committee in North Carolina. That was 20 years ago, and I'm going on a teaching tour there next week.
Very good. Well, thank you for talking with us.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay. What's your name?
Bea Somerhaulter.
And you're a Baha'i?
Yes, I am.
I know you're one of the long-standing people that works in the bookstore.
Bookshop.
Right.
Yes, I've been in the bookshop for quite a
Okay.
while.
I'm going to ask you a kind of a difficult question. Who is Baha'u'llah?
Who is Baha'u'llah?
Who is Baha'u'llah, the founder of the Baha'i faith?
You want to know who Baha'u'llah, the founder of the Baha'i faith, is?
Right.
Well, that's it. He's the founder of the Baha'i faith.
Uh-huh.
And Baha'u'llah has come to bring us into a new cycle and bring about the oneness of mankind and peace and all of the good things that we've all been looking for and praying for, and Baha'u'llah is going to bring this into fruition.
Very good. What is it about the Baha'i faith that made you want to first investigate it?
Well, I can't say that when I first heard of it I wanted to investigate it, but my parents started coming to the Baha'i house of worship when it was just a foundation area. And they brought my sister and I along with them, and we would usually play out in the grounds. And we thought it was kind of boring at the time. But then as my parents became more and more interested and we started going to more and more Baha'i activities, why, we found out that this was the answer.
Very good. So it's what you've been looking for your entire life.
Yes, and felt so fortunate to have finally found it and being able to be a part of it and be working for it.
Very good. Thank you very much for talking with us.
Okay, thank you.
Well, good evening, everybody.
Hi, what's your name?
Larry Olson.
And you're a Baha'i?
No, I'm not a Baha'i.
Oh, you're not?
No, but I married one.
Oh, you married one. So
I married Lee Arrington.
Okay, so you're not a Baha'i. Tell me what you think about the Baha'i faith.
I think it's good. I'm leaning toward it, you know, and there's a lot of things that I agree with, you know. It's not anti-Christian like a lot of Christian people think it is. It's got, it uses many of the phrases that come out of the Bible, and, you know, to kind of back up the faith. I haven't quite decided yet whether I'm going to accept it or not, but I'm looking into it.
Very good. Thank you for talking with us. We're talking with Bob Reneau. Reneau.
Reneau, it's French name.
And are you French?
No, all of my name is French.
I know you're from Central America?
Yes, from Belize.
From Belize.
This is formerly British Honduras.
Well, we're just walking around doing man-on-the-street interviews, asking people what they think about the Baha'i faith, or why they became Baha'is, or what appeals to them about the Baha'i faith.
Yeah. Well, I have so many answers to that since being a Baha'i since 1968. I met the Baha'i in 1963. I didn't care to listen to them. I gave them help for about 10 years. But
I was say that you used to be a minister?
Yes, an assistant preacher in the Methodist Church. They call us lay readers, you know. And so I was very steeped in the Methodist Church, being Sunday school superintendent, you know, and choir master, organist, and the whole works. And I just couldn't see nothing else but just what I was being taught. And I met the Baha'i in 1953. In lieu of my job, which was broadcasting, I did many recordings of sacred services, and hence the Baha'is passed through my hands throughout the years. The many hands they called, like Dr. Mahaja, he came 3 times. Inukalinga, he came 3 times. Dr. Zakeri came twice. Then Mr. Karen came. And my Baha'i friend would say, I don't know why Baha'u'llah loves you. I said, lady, you're talking nonsense. I said, no, I'm really. These men you are meeting in the Baha'i faith, they're great people. And he has his hand on you for some reason. You'll be a Baha'i. I just finally have to, I did become a Baha'i in truth. And my life is most happy since being a Baha'i.
Good. Yeah. What is it about the Baha'i faith that you originally had trouble with, do you think?
Well, it's just a matter of, you know, the English matter of being a Christian. Anything apart from Christianity is bad, is wrong. And I saw it as a one-way street. But it took the Baha'is to teach me the Baha'i faith through the Bible, to see Christ using the very word that Christ said. I have so much to tell you, I don't think to tell you. And I said, but yes, but the Bible says, by no other name, so and so. He said, that is true, but for that dispensation, how right he was, you see? And those different quotes, and then...
I know Jesus said several times that he would come with a new name.
And Jesus Christ also said, other worlds have I.
Right. You see? So you're a former Christian minister, and now you sincerely believe that Christ has returned?
Yes, I do believe that. In fact, I teach that a lot. I teach it a lot.
Very good.
I remember I was in Wisconsin 3 years ago, and I was singing the Holy City. Because the night they had shown a film of the new House of Justice. And the film said, the headline was the New Jerusalem. And the morning was asked to sing the piece. And the same lady stayed when Dr. Roll Bennett, he said, sing it for them. And when I sang it, the congregation stood up. And some were crying, and because I told him, look, I have sung this piece many times. As a Baha'i, I'm going to sing it, because the man who wrote this piece, he would have been a Baha'i. Because he sang exactly about the new city and the New Jerusalem. And in the Baha'i teaching, Abdul Baha says, New Jerusalem means the new teaching.
Right. A new teaching descended from God.
Yes, from God.
Thank you very much, Bobby, for talking with us.
No, it's a pleasure.
All right. We're talking with Edna True, and you are 96.
98.
98, really?
98.
And it was your mother who originally went to Israel and got the permission to build the Baha'i House of Worship.
Well, it's quite a story. If you've got time, I'd just soon send it, because I like to clear these things up.
Go ahead.
She was asked when she went to Israel to see the master, to present to him a list of names of people in this area who were they needed something. They were not growing. The different places were not growing, not developing, and it was because the way the cause was developing. It was in Boston, it was in New York, it was in Washington, and then again it was in one or two places in the Middle West, and then out into California. And what we wanted to do was to bring in something that would develop it here, and that's what happened.
And that's how the Baha'i House of Worship was built?
The House of Worship, yes.
Yes. Tell me, what are some of the important Baha'i teachings? What are the most important Baha'i teachings, do you think?
The most important?
Yes.
Oh, I'd be flabbergasted to say that.
You know, unity of
I do
mankind.
know, yes.
Unity. Unity.
Unity
of mankind.
Unity of mankind.
Yeah. Can you tell
Don't
us?
listen to me now. I'm worn utterly out.
Are you worn out? Okay. Thank you very much for talking with us.
If you're in the meeting another time, I'd be
Okay.
delighted to talk with you.
Very good. It's a privilege to meet you.
Yes.
Thank you.
In the 90s. And
I know that.
Kind of at the end of a little time here now.
I know this is a special award ceremony in your honor tonight. And thank you very much for talking with us. With Miss Thelma Jackson. And tell us, Thelma, how long have you been a Baha'i?
40 years next month.
40 years.
No. Yes, 40 years next month.
Were your family Baha'is, or how did you become a Baha'i?
My father was a Christian minister.
Oh, he was?
I never got to tell him about the faith, but I did my mother, and she never became a Baha'i, but she didn't object to my being one. And I was in Alaska at the time when I became a Baha'i. That's a long story, too.
If you happen to get the picture.
Are there any prominent aspects of the Baha'i teachings that you would like to share with
what
people on
appealed to me
TV?
at that time, in 1947, 46, and 7, were really the social principles. It was only afterward that I began to feel a real personal inspiration in the faith and the teachings of Baha'u'llah. And also, it was only afterward that I began to love the administrative order.
I know you've served as a auxiliary board member for many, many years.
Nearly 17 years.
Yeah. You have a very distinguished career as a Baha'i. We really appreciate it. Yeah. So, thank you very much for talking with us. With Gayle Woolson, and Gayle is Baha'i, and she's an author. What was the name of the book that you wrote?
It's called Divine Symphony, and it's on comparative religion.
And what does the book talk about?
It talks about the great messengers of God who established the major religions of the world and the great civilizations. It has 9 chapters. The book deals with Krishna, Abraham, Moses, Zoroaster, Buddha, Christ, Muhammad, the Bab, and Baha'u'llah. And I also have a children's public speaking project, which is based on the words of Abdu'l-Baha.
Right. This is a project where you teach children to speak in public observances.
Yes, Abdu'l-Baha said, encourage you, the school children from their earliest years, to deliver speeches of high quality. And this has been the inspiration of my project. And I have been training little children to learn speeches by calling them on the telephone, because I have a different speech for each child. And I drill them with just giving them a few words at a time. And I say the few words 3 times. The child repeats 3 times. Then I go on to the next few words. We do the same thing. Then I connect the words. And that's the building process.
It's really a very simple process for these children to memorize talks.
Yes, it is. And another thing is that these children have spoken before conferences.
Right. I remember at the Peace Conference we had in San Francisco recently, one of your children spoke in front of 10,000 people. 8,000 people, yeah.
Were you one of the video...
No, I wasn't there, but I heard all about it.
Oh, you heard about it?
Sure.
Oh, did you see a video of it?
No, not yet.
He was videotaped. Oh, he was outstanding. He just floored the audience.
Let me ask you kind of a difficult question.
Yes.
Who is Baha'u'llah?
Baha'u'llah is the most recent of the successive messengers of God who have come from time to time. His name means the light of God or the glory of God. And he is the one that is promised in the sacred scriptures of the different religions of the great messenger who is to come at a universal age with a universal message of peace and unity for mankind. And in my research for the preparation of my book on comparative religion, I have found amazing prophecies about him. And I am bringing that out in the revised edition that is being processed now.
Very good. So what you're saying is that Baha'u'llah, the founder of the Baha'i faith, fulfills the prophecies of the major religions of the world.
Yes, he does. All of the religions have prophecies about his coming and his great message.
That's very, very exciting. That's something that I think everyone should really know about. And
yes.
Hopefully, when people hear about this, they will want to know more about it and they will investigate it.
Yes, it's extremely important for mankind in this age. Now technology has united the world with television and airplanes and all the means of communication. The world has become one. And God's message for mankind is world unity. We do have geographical unity. Now we need spiritual and intellectual unity.
Right. Well, thank you very much for talking with us.
It was a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Braun, Len Braun.
Where are you from?
Glenview, Illinois.
And are you a Baha'i?
I am definitely a Baha'i.
How long have you been a Baha'i?
Oh, more years than I can count. About maybe 20.
20 years.
Yeah.
What is it about the Baha'i faith that made you want to learn about it?
Well, I would say that probably it's the only complete faith that I know of.
What do you mean by complete faith?
Well, it has the answers to a lot of problems that the other religions don't seem to have.
What are some of the answers that you can think of that...
Well, they have principles that are more acceptable to this day than the others, such as equality of men and women, compulsory education, all of these things that we're gradually becoming accustomed to in our society, but when they were established, it was unheard of.
Very good. Well, thank you for talking with us.
Thank you.
What's your name?
Brandon.
Brandon what?
Brandon Bullock.
Are you Baha'i?
Yes, I am.
How long have you been a Baha'i?
Since birth.
Since
I
birth?
was declared when I was 15. But...
Bullock is a fairly famous name on Baha'i circles. Are you...
Well, my father used to work at the temple here.
There used to be a Bullock that was a member of the National Assembly. Are you related to him?
I don't know. Well, my whole family is Baha'is. So I'm very ignorant of that.
Well, what about the Baha'i faith do you like?
Well, myself, one thing I've been involved in the Baha'i Youth Workshop, and we were a traveling group. We got to go around and perform, proclaiming the faith. And the thing I really liked about it is the effect that we had through the workshop to reach. We went to a lot of ghetto areas and such. We went across the country, and we got to touch a lot of people and also be positive role models. That's something that I enjoyed about the youth workshop. But as a Baha'i, I mean, one thing is it's easy to stay out of trouble that way. Just being involved in the faith and things like that, that you don't get the peer pressure, the negativity that's out there. So that's one thing that I like about it. But the thing more than anything else I like about the faith is I believe it's true. I believe Baha'u'llah is who he says he is, and that's the bottom line, I think, is...
Who does Baha'u'llah say he is?
The latest manifestation of God for this day. That he is the next in a successive process of manifestations such as Christ, Muhammad, Buddha, Abraham, Moses, whatever. He claims to be the latest of the manifestations. That none of these prophets are greater than the other, but they're all part of a plan, such as school.
Very good.
First, second, third grade. That God
really, when you think about it, if that is true, it is the only way the world can be saved.
Yeah, there's no doubt. That, I mean, this is one thing that when I was studying the faith, when I was 15, even though most people declare, I started to question the faith. Like, how do we know we're right? Everyone, the Christians think they're right, the Muslims think they're right, and they're the only way. Why are we so vain to think that we do? So I started investigating it, and I started realizing, myself only through prophecy. But one thing that really scared me for a second, when I started to think, maybe this is wrong, because the first thing I thought of, if Baha'u'llah is not who he says he is, the world's doomed. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. It's like, the world has no shot at it,
We're cinders.
Yeah, see ya. We're history.
Very good. Thanks for talking with us.
Oh, no problem.
Richard Pebbles.
And how old are you?
10.
10. Are you Baha'i?
Yes.
What is it about Baha'i faith that appeals to you, that you like?
I like to teach.
What sort of things do you like to teach? What sort of things do you like to talk about?
About Baha'u'llah, Abdul-Baha.
Very good. What's your favorite Baha'i principle?
Peace throughout the world.
Very good. Thanks for talking with us.
You're
What's your name?
Bernece Pecaro.
How old are you?
I'm about 13.
13. And are you Baha'i?
Yes, I am.
Are you Iranian?
Yes, I am.
What is it about Baha'i faith that you like?
Well, I like it because, well, I like teaching, and I also like the things about it.
What's your favorite Baha'i teaching? Your favorite Baha'i principle?
Unity amongst all men.
That's the most important one, isn't it? Okay. Thank you very much.
Paula Carson.
And how old are you?
18.
18. Are you Baha'i?
Yes, I am.
Why?
Because I believe in what the teachings teach.
For example?
For example, the oneness of mankind and just major beliefs they have.
It's very important. Who's Baha'u'llah? That's kind of a difficult question, but who is Baha'u'llah?
Baha'u'llah is the founder of our faith, and he, in essence, brought the Baha'i faith into being.
Very good. Okay, thanks for talking with us. What's your name?
Okay, my name is Rosamond Brenner.
Pardon me? No, that's fine. And I know you and Bobby here performed a duet tonight.
That's right.
You're a Baha'i, I assume?
Yes.
How long have you been a Baha'i?
Since 1971.
71. Why?
15 years.
What about Baha'i faith did you like?
Well, the first thing that attracted me to it was the idea of the unity of religion. And I was searching for something that brought all the religions under one roof. And I was working in both a Jewish temple and in a Christian church many times, and I found the prayers are all the same.
As a musician?
As a musician.
You used to work there. What do you mean that the Baha'i faith brings all the religions together?
Well, everyone feels at home and realizing that we're all one family. That, all the prophets of God are teaching the same message of love and unity throughout history, and it's just the changing of the social laws. As we become more mature, we need different social laws, and they come about, and the new messenger comes in.
Who do you think Baha'u'llah is, the prophet founder of the Baha'i faith?
He's the latest one in a series of messengers. He's bringing the message of love and unity and progressive revelation carried forward to our day.
Very good. Thanks for talking with us.
Thank you.
Ken Jeffers, the director of the Baha'i House of Worship, and you're making quite a few changes here at the Baha'i House of Worship. Can you tell us a few things about some of the changes you're going to be making?
Well, it's perhaps a change in emphasis. Our intention is to, on the one hand, do as good a job as we can in welcoming the 200,000 visitors that come here of their own free will every year. And to do that, we feel that we need more volunteers to interact with them so that we can have perhaps as many as 8 or 10 guides or hosts and hostesses on each shift. That's our primary goal, is to increase the number of volunteers. Our second objective is to change somewhat the way we look down here in the visitor center, making it more bright and light and more human in the sense of having our displays reflect the emerging global community. Many people come to the House of Worship and don't even know there is a Baha'i community. They know this is a beautiful building and it's very spiritual, but they have no sense of this emerging global community with its great diversity. We hope to be able to show that both by having more of the community here and pictorially on our displays by showing more faces of diverse backgrounds. Toward that end, we're instituting a remodeling program, hopefully beginning later this month and being finished before the convention in April, so that we'll put a new face out to the public. Once we've done that and made our displays more coherent so that people get a clearer perception of what the faith is about, we hope they'll begin to identify with it more. And as we instruct our guides in terms of becoming effective teachers, we hope that this can in fact become a teacher training center for the Baha'is.
As people come to the Baha'i House of Worship, if they would leave with only one item of knowledge about the Baha'i faith, what do you think that should be?
Give me two, instead of one.
Okay.
I think the two central principles of the Baha'i faith that I would most like them to leave with is a knowledge of the oneness of mankind, the oneness of the human family and all of its diversity, and the oneness of religion, that all the prophets of God have come from the same source, animated by the same spirit, for the same purpose, which is to educate us in spiritual matters and to bring this human family together. These are the two attitudinal changes that our peace statement talks about as being essential to the establishment of world peace. And they're two of the principles that this house of worship symbolizes. And so it's interesting that this house of worship, which is attracting almost 250,000 people a year, is really attracting them to these principles. So it's the house of worship has been called the silent teacher, and it's doing its job by attracting the people. The Baha'is are not to be silent. They are to articulate these principles and to display the emerging global community, which the peace statement says is a model for world peace.
Very good. Okay. Thank you for talking with us.
Thank you.